Hello, my name is Jonathan Crotty. I'm a lawyer with the Crotty law firm in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I've been asked by Brooks Equipment today to talk about some of the key provisions of the brand new CARES Act as they apply to FEDs and small businesses in general. Now, I'll preface this by saying that the CARES Act was just passed on Friday, so we don't have a lot of information about how the specific provisions I'm going to mention are going to be implemented, or even how small businesses can go ahead and sign up to try to take advantage of some of these. But I do want to talk in general about some of the key provisions of the Act as they apply to small businesses. Now, the CARE Act provides $2 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars, intended to inject money into the economy and to help large businesses and small businesses get through the worst effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I want to highlight just a couple of the provisions of the law that would be of particular interest to those of you who are in small businesses. First of all, there is going to be a loan program from the Small Business Administration called the SBA Paycheck Protection Program. If you all agree, if you decide to agree to retain your employees instead of laying them off, SBA loans will be available to you that will allow you to pay for a certain portion of those benefits, the employee retention credit, and also allow you to pay certain other bills with even partially forgivable SBA loans. Now, in the employee retention credit, you can get up to 50% of the cost of employee wages back to you as a tax credit. Now, 50% sounds like a lot, but for a lot of employers, it may just not be enough to incentivize you to avoid layoffs if your business is in a position where that needs to be done. But just be aware that that employee retention credit is out there. Second, in some circumstances, small businesses can also be qualified for government-backed forgivable SBA loans to cover qualified expenses that are associated with some of their payroll costs for employees, continuation of healthcare benefits to employees, and even things like mortgage interest, rent, and utilities payments that you may miss as a result of this crisis. So again, it's going to take a lot of rules and regulations and explanation to figure out how this is done, but there's going to be a large amount of SBA loan money available that small businesses should check into and see if they're available. Also, under the CARES Act, the federal government is going to subsidize and substantially expand unemployment benefits. Basically, unemployed persons in the U.S. will get up to an additional $600 per week on top of the maximum state unemployment benefits that they may qualify for to help them get through the pandemic situation. Not only will this apply to people who traditionally qualify for unemployment benefits, but it'll also apply to people such as independent contractors, consultants, people who only work part-time, people who are just entering the workforce, people who had to quit to take care of someone who had COVID-19, or people who had to quit to take care of children because their schools or daycare centers were closed. So one thing small businesses can do if they are forced to lay off employees or cut their hours is to point them in the direction of their state unemployment agencies, which should be able to help them with these expanded benefits. The benefits will be in place for up to 39 weeks, and even for employees whose regular unemployment benefits have expired, there may be a 13-week extension tacked on top of that. Finally, in terms of small businesses, CARES will include a delayed payroll tax payments. You will be allowed to defer the payment of payroll taxes for the 2020 calendar year until December 31st of this year for half the taxes and December 31st of 2022 for the remaining half. Now, this provision does not apply to small businesses whose loans end up being forgiven under the earlier SBA program I had mentioned. Now, you should not assume that any of this, you're going to qualify for any of these or begin any of these payments or deferrals of tax payments until we have clear guidance from the agencies. But please keep an eye out for additional information that will be coming in the upcoming days and weeks as to how small businesses can take care of some of these, take advantage of some of these programs. I hope that all of you are doing well and getting through this crisis as best as can be expected. We do expect some additional legislative action from Congress over the next several weeks, and we'll update this presentation as we get more information for small businesses and employers in general. Thank you, and stay safe.